Supposed to be a PA on a film today in Greenwich, Connecticut, but the director never got in touch with me. So that's not happening. It looks like a great film, and I wish him all the best, but I didn't know how to get there. So yeah, it'd be great if I didn't have to come home every day and have cat shit everywhere because of this. That. You see it? That. Because of you, there is poop everywhere. Because you have intestinal problems. You're a very pretty cat. But you make my room smell like shit. Ow, fuck. Who's a big kitty? Plan for the day. Going to Brooklyn Coffee Roasters, as always. Going to Oxido, as always. And meeting my sister for dinner. And then that's all I got so far. This is my kind of day. It's like 60 degrees, no sun, perfect weather.
Shut up and sit down.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, day's over. I want to talk about a movie I just saw called Dope. The reason I want to talk about this movie is because I've heard a lot of great things about it. It got an astounding rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but it will never have the publicity that The Avengers will have, or Avatar, or Mad Max, or any of these big Hollywood films, because it's an indie film, right? But it was one of the best movies I think I've ever seen. It had very complex characters. It had an intriguing storyline. Dope is about a kid named Malcolm who's in high school, who lives in Los Angeles, and his two friends, one of which is a lesbian who looks like a guy, a joke they make early on in the movie. And they get involved with a drug dealer, yada, yada, yada. And the kids in this movie are absolutely brilliant. And the point I really want to highlight is the final moments of the movie where Malcolm, the main character, who's played by Shameik Moore, delivers an absolutely astounding speech where he compares himself as a kid, like a geek, a self-proclaimed geek who he loves hip-hop and he loves the 90s, and he's compared to the Fresh Prince. He's a complete nerd. And then he compares himself, a kid who doesn't sell drugs, doesn't do drugs, and then he compares himself to the person he became when he has to get himself out of trouble in order to ensure that he gets into Harvard, or at least the school of his choice. He has to become a drug dealer, he has to do an assortment of illegal things, and that's not the person who he is. But he compares the person who he is with the person he had to become. And in this essay, which he writes as his personal essay for college, it is truly dynamic and really thought-provoking and inspiring. People can have more than one person in them, or they can do multiple things. Say, for example, you rob a store, or you cheat on a test. You are not defined necessarily just by this one singular action. There's a lot more to you, which is why I love that final speech so much, because Malcolm gave a really powerful explanation into how you can be these two people, and how he is still extremely intelligent, extremely driven, and is a good person, why he deserves to go to Harvard. This movie is fantastic. I truly urge all of you to see it for multiple reasons. One of the biggest reasons is if you're a filmmaker or aspiring filmmaker, you should see this because there are complex characters, a well-written script, to be honest, fantastic costume design, a great soundtrack. Overall, it is so well done. The movie covers a wide array of topics. It's powerful, it's emotional, you feel for the characters, you relate to the characters. Especially, and today, I think it was today, the Huffington Post released a video of saying how dominated Hollywood is by white people. and how rare it is for a black person to win the Academy Award. It's horrible. It really is. There's not enough diversity in the film world. It's simply true. I actually thought this was a really powerful line. The director, whose name is Rick Famuyiwa, I probably butchered that, I'm sorry. One of the main comments that Rick Famuyiwa, the director, says is that he wants this movie to be a conversation about how black men in America have been perceived between the 90s and today, and that's changed a lot. And he does a fantastic job in this film of showing so much about our society that we may not anticipate. He doesn't want this to be a black film because there shouldn't need to be a special niche in the cinema world for black cinema, because we don't do that for any other kind of any other kind of movie or any other kind of film. It's just a movie. It's just film. There doesn't need to be its own little special category. Oh, this is a black film. And he does an excellent job explaining this in an interview with BET, and it's true. I think calling it a black film is labeling it incorrectly. It is a film. One of the big points that's emphasized in the movie, kind of subtly, is that their friend Dig, who is gay, she is just widely accepted by the group, and the question was asked, would that have changed if she were a guy? And the director, Rick, said, I mean, no, we wrote a gay character in who is just going to be accepted because there is nothing that should not be accepted about someone who's gay. The reason I love this movie so much is because it addresses so many issues that we just don't see in cinema enough. And I urge you to see this. I'm plugging this film completely, especially if you're a filmmaker, if you're a young American, if you're an old American, if you're not American, see this movie.